then you're actually getting weaker. So the guy that wins tonight is the strongest fucking guy in the contest, whoever gets the most reps. So if he weighs 120, sorry, but he's stronger than the guy that weighs, 250. That's just my opinion. So anyway, I'm gonna go down there. And does anyone have any questions? Any questions at all? Anyone want to ask me anything about steroids or synthol or any fucking questions at all? All right, I'm going to be walking around tonight. If anyone wants to talk, sit down and chat. If you want to talk about a fucking steroid cycle, you want me to tell you this, tell me that, I'm down. I'm here to meet my fans. I'm here to talk to my fans. I'm here to get to know everybody here. And I'm having a great time. And, I believe that this whole fitness industry, that, we're all a team and we're all in this together. And I don't see anyone better than anyone else. We're all in this together, we're all equals. And I wish that, there's a lot of people out there that, hate on their own kind. There's bodybuilders out there that, on Instagram and Facebook will, hate on other bodybuilders. And I never really could understand that mentality where you look at someone and your first thought is, oh, that guy has tweaked this, that guy needs this, that guy needs that. I've never understood that mindset of always trying to find the negative. It's more about trying to find the positive, trying to look at people, and look for the positive, look for the best in people. Everyone has weak parts and everyone has good parts. And I've always been the type of person that, I see someone and I'm looking at their strong points. That's what comes out at me when I see them. I'm like, holy shit, look at that guy's arms. Holy shit, look at that guy's legs. And there's the other, people that have the mentality like, oh, that guy has no calves. The guy's, fucking flawless, has an incredible body. And so that's one thing I really like to get out there is that, we're all equals, we're all in this together, and we should all motivate each other and help each other. And, there's no reason to be jealous or insecure of anyone because there's always someone better. No matter how good you are at whatever you're doing, there's always going to be someone better. And another good point I like to make is that there's always someone working harder. No matter what you're doing, there's someone doing more. So when it comes to trying to reach your goals in life, it's very important to remember you can always be doing more. Whatever it is in life, you can always be doing more. So that's something I really like to get out there, especially in the bodybuilding world, because over time, not in the 70s, not necessarily in the 80s, I actually think this all started, I don't want to name any names, but there's a particular bodybuilder that I think started this whole, you can't train for more than 45 minutes. And ever since that person put that out there, a lot of people have the mentality, that you can't train more than this. And the truth is, anything in life, the more you put in, the more you get out. The guy that's training 2 hours a day, eating 12 meals a day, is going to be better than the guy training an hour a day, eating 6 meals a day, period. And that's just my opinion, anything in life. If I'm going to open a business and I'm going to put 16 hours a day, and the guy that's putting 8 hours a day in his business, I'm going to be more successful. And, it's true for bodybuilding too. The more you put in, the more you get out. And you can always do more. A lot of times people say, well, when I eat that many meals, I start to get fat. Well, there's a thing called cardio. And a lot of bodybuilders' mentality is cardio burns muscle, so I can't do cardio because it'll burn muscle. No, a lot of people like to think that because they don't want to fucking do cardio, so that's an excuse not to do it. And again, I don't practice everything I preach. I don't do cardio right now. You don't see me on the step mill an hour a day. Why? Because in my life right now, I have more important things going on. But back in my bodybuilding days, when that's all I cared about and that was my goal, I was doing the step mill every day. So, if you're eating 8 meals a day and you start to put on fat, don't go backwards in the meals. That's going backwards. Add cardio in, It's better to eat more, do cardio, than eat less. So that's just my theory, and it's the truth. The more you put in, the more you're going to get out. I would say no one in this building is eating 12 times a day, working out 2 hours a day, and doing an hour on the step mill. Is anyone in here putting that much effort in their bodybuilding career? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. All I'm saying is that you can always do more. And for some reason in the bodybuilding world, people like to believe that it's not true, that you can do too much. You know, to me that's a lazy person's mentality, that you can do too much. So just remember, there's always someone training harder. Question? When I was in high school, I benched 315, and I've heard of people benching in the 400s in high school, you know, which is incredible. In fact, Big Boy, who's in the house, is one of my 5%ers. I think he was hitting over 400 in high school. And at my high school, I left that high school being the strongest bencher to ever go to that high school. So maybe I just grew up in a fucking, you know, pussy-ass fucking town. But yeah, that was Sacramento, actually. Sacramento, California is where I was raised. I was born in LA. But yeah, that was the thing, is I benched every day back then. And my chest continued to grow, benching every day. I got stronger, my chest grew. You know, a lot of people will argue and say, if you bench every day, you're gonna get smaller, you're gonna get weaker, your chest is gonna shrink. And the crazy thing is, the people that say that have never tried it. They've never actually tried it. They just read it, regurgitate it, and, you know, try to educate people on something they never even tried. And there was back in the, I don't know, 60s, 70s, Vince Granada, what he actually did is he tried everything so he knew for himself. For instance, he'd go in and do rope push downs, and he'd do 10 sets of 10. The next day he'd see where his triceps were sore, and then he would know exactly what that exercise does, you know, what part of the tricep it's actually hitting. And much respect for that, because he actually would find out for himself, you know. And I think, you know, a lot of people, they just read things, they believe it, and then they regurgitate it and they tell everybody that. And, you know, I'll bring up something, you know, about whatever it is, and, you know, I'll get all these comments and say, oh, that's not true. And I know these people haven't tried it, you know, they're just going on what they've read. And I think you need to be open-minded, and you need to understand that there's always a better way. Always a better way. Whatever you're doing, there is a better way. Guaranteed. No matter who you are, there's a better way. So when I hear someone talk, I listen and I logically decipher it and think about it, and you know, come up with my own, what I think, and then I might even try it if it makes sense to me. And that's the only way I'm going to know for sure. So that's another good point, is you know, be open-minded. What about what? You mean as far as like to burn fat in the midsection? You talking about those kind of sweat belts? Yeah, no, that's, I mean, in my opinion, the best thing for tightening your waist is doing vacuums. Vacuums is something that Arnold, you know, did back in the 70s. I read about it, and I've experimented with it, and it actually, you know, back in the 70s and 80s, every bodybuilder did vacuum poses on stage. Vacuum poses, they put their hands over their head, and they suck their abdominals up under their rib cage, and they show how tiny their waist is. And, you know, that pose is no longer done. And I believe that most bodybuilders can't do that pose. So it's, you know, practicing vacuums allows you to be able to control those muscles and actually bring your waist down. And as we get older, our waist naturally just gets thicker, you know, from the muscles not being in. Doing abs and training abs and intercostals and obliques, it's not the same as doing, you know, as doing breathing exercises and practicing vacuums. It's not at all the same. So that's my personal opinion as far as bringing the waist in, is doing vacuums.